So what does it really take to go full-time on YouTube? You know, after growing a couple different channels to over 100,000 subscribers, getting 3 silver play buttons, our main channel, Think Media, to over 1 million, getting that gold play button, I've noticed some trends and some pitfalls when it comes to going full-time on YouTube. I've noticed some things that those that really succeed over the long haul have, and I've noticed those that have gotten stuck or have actually stopped growing, mistakes and traps they've fallen into. And so I'm really excited because in this video, I'm going to be breaking down our brand new YouTube domination framework, which will help you get more clarity. Maybe you're kind of unsure about your next step or where you are on the journey and what to expect next. I believe you're going to get a lot of value out of this video. You got to just press record. As a parent now, I'm asking questions like, is this sustainable? Like what I'm doing on YouTube. What kind of example am I being for my son? What am I building? And what am I doing for the next generation? So this YouTube domination framework was really inspired out of seeing so many good things in the creator economy, but also seeing some dangerous traps that are leading to anxiety and burnout. And so let's get into it. So this is the YouTube domination framework. If you ever seen one of these before, you could see that it starts at 0, and you could rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10 on the x-axis, right? And 1 to 10 on the y-axis. And the first axis is views. When it comes to winning on YouTube, you know, it's all about how many, can I get the views? And a lot of us can focus just on this. Let me know how you're doing. On a scale from 1 to 10, how do you feel like your views are going? Tell me in the comments. So, you know, how many views can I get? This is kind of predominantly the main question on YouTube. How do I get more views? Where can I get more views? On every social media platform. I want to get more views. I want to get more views. You know what I mean? And that also could be like likes. It's like kind of the metrics. They might be vanity metrics. They might be real metrics. I mean, views is impact for sure. No question, right? But sometimes, and I see this all the time, people are getting a lot of views, but they haven't really figured out how to make the money side of things. So then you could rate yourself on a scale from 0 to 10. How am I doing with the money? And those who understand how to build a business, or maybe come into YouTube with a pre-existing business, maybe you're in network marketing, you already have a business model, you may imagine now only need to be like a 2 on views, but if you were a 10 on money, you're doing all right. If you were like a 5 on views and a 5 on money, like you're right in here, like you could be doing pretty good. But what the ultimate goal, of course, would be to master, how do I get traffic? How do I get views? And also master the ways of making money on YouTube. What business model am I going to do? Have I created multiple income streams? Have I figured out how to scale my income? Have I also figured out how to recession-proof my income in case one thing dries up? Advertisers, if I'm dependent on brand deals, what if brand deals dry up? And so really what we start off with here, the first kind of person, or the first step in all of our journeys, is we're going to start out as the dabbler. And let me know which journey you kind of fall into. I'll give you a couple other ones, but the dabbler, and this makes sense, right? If you're on the dabbler stage, you just aren't taking YouTube serious yet, right? That's okay. You may be a dabbler if you consume more videos than you create. Shots fired. But you know, like if you're just watching a lot of YouTube, but you're not actually making videos, you're still dabbling. You got to commit. So the action here is to decide, I'm going to just shift from dabbling to dominating, and I'm going to actually commit, right? So then what happens typically, and this is the trap that the majority fall into, is the influencer. Now, congratulations. If you make it here, it takes a lot of work. It's going to take some luck, some timing, and you have some videos with a lot of views. You've got some subscribers. You know, you may be posting a lot of content on YouTube. You might have just started TikTok or Instagram, and you're like, dude, I've got some stuff that's happening. I got some views. The money is coming in. However, I've met a lot of successful influencers that are living paycheck to paycheck. And what happens here is the trap is an influencer's main goal is typically just to go viral. They haven't built a sustainable business that isn't relying on their next viral video. And maybe you've even heard of like the starving artist. And by the way, the starving artist might have thousands coming in, but it's like, frick, I'm only as good as my last viral. Can I keep this up? You know? Like, and the metrics you measure is more your subscriber account than your bank account. And then you're also probably exhausted because you're on the treadmill of creating content. And if you don't stop running, your content creation business would stop. It's all about you. You're the influencer. You're the personal brand, right? And the worry is, what happens if my 15 minutes of fame are over?
Not growing on YouTube? Learn the newest strategies for getting views and the best proven ways to make money at Grow with Video Live, a 2-day virtual conference, and you can get your tickets today at growwithvideolive.com.
There's a constant pressure to be creative with your ideas and to ensure that you aren't posting offensive content and to create something that will increase your followers. So sometimes you're at the mercy of pleasing your followers, of selling your soul to the algorithm instead of your purpose and your vision. This is just the temptations, right? And you get hate comments, and so there's a whole emotional thing that comes along with it. And am I pleasing? Because most influencers' way of making money, of course, there's the YouTube partner program with ads, but it's brand deals. It's going to be working for other bosses. You have bosses. You've got brands that are telling you what to do, when to post it, what's okay to post. So sometimes it chokes out the influencer's creativity. So ultimately, again, this is great. Congratulations. Like if you move from dabbler to influencer and even start earning a little bit of money, then things could start going pretty good. And let me know if you could relate to either of those. But the next one's the pusher. Okay. This next kind of path people find themselves in is the pusher. Notice you're not very good at getting views potentially. You're like a 3 at getting views, but maybe you're like a 10 at business model and figuring out how to make money. So the pusher has a business model and something to sell and is good at making money. Problem is you haven't figured out how to consistently get views and you don't have a wide enough audience. So sometimes you can fall into being the pushy salesman because it's a small audience. You got the business model, but you got to hammer it because you're trying to pay the bills. And the truth is the best way to market in this new decade is no pressure. Nobody wants the car salesman might still work some places, but like that's dead and gone. It's about service. It's about value. It's about patience. It's about farming, not hunting. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to be hunted. You want to be farmed in the sense of you just want to be cultivated, watered, invited to like, hey, if you want to do business together, like we can. If you don't, that's cool too. Like there's no push. But when you don't have enough views, you don't have a big enough audience, you could fall into the trap of being the pusher. But ultimately, we don't want to end in any of these spots. No matter where you are today, the good news is that we all start somewhere and we all go through different seasons. And you'll probably find yourself navigating through these seasons. But the important thing so we succeed on our YouTube journey towards going full time is clarity of where we want to go, what it's going to look like, and what skills we need to learn to get there or adapt into or grow into. Again, what are you building? Like, man, I'm just trying to get views, but what has it got me, or where has it got me a couple years from now? Or I'm on this treadmill, I'm pushing. And so ultimately, over my journey, and especially from interviewing so many people that have graduated, if you will, from these seasons by intentional choice, strategy, mentoring, coaching, decisions, navigation, they made sure they had a compass, they defined where they wanted to go, and they set this as a target. Really, the goal is to be the YouTubepreneur, Okay. So what's that? So the YouTubepreneur is an individual who has built a sustainable, profitable, and scalable business. This is one thing you got to wrap your mind around. Jay-Z said it this way. He said, I'm not a businessman. I am a business man. I'm a business. Okay. That's us as influencers, personal brands, but you got to start thinking like a business. And I find that most dope. Sometimes the term can even say, well, like, I'm a creator, I'm a creative. Like, come on, dude, I'm just entertaining. I'm gaming. I'm not a business. You got to think like a business, because what is a business, right? Business is an entity that seeks to profit from an activity. A business, I've heard entrepreneurship defined this way. An entrepreneur solves problems for a profit. So you make a decision, what problem do I solve? And I'm also profitable. That's like, we shouldn't be afraid of that. Like people are like, we're afraid of making money. Well, you can't go full time without making money. You actually can't feed your kids or build a legacy or build something sustainable or build generational wealth if you don't make money. So you have to stop apologizing. You're in business, right? This is a business. And not only that, but it's sustainable. And the trap of either being in the influencer or even the pusher side, it's not necessarily sustainable. You're pushing too hard. You don't have both views and money. Profitable, meaning there's money left over after you spend your expenses, and scalable, meaning it can scale and grow up. Now, this is a big, by the way, I'm painting like this could be a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year journey. It really could, because sometimes the problem too with a personal brand is it may not be very scalable. And the only way to make anything scalable is eventually to start building a team and other things, systems and things like that. The aspects that real businesses have. Guess what businesses have? Teams, systems, a business plan, a business model. Okay, you got it. Let's finish the definition. So a YouTubepreneur is an individual who has built a sustainable, profitable, and scalable business on YouTube that generates consistent views. Not seasonal views, not views because you got lucky once, not I went viral. Do you know how many viral videos there have been from people who literally had 15 minutes of fame and are nowhere to be seen? I'm not trying to dishonor or disrespect them. It happens all the time. Dude, a viral video is not your answer. It may be your answer to discoverability, but the problem is if there's not something solid behind that, it could be a wisp of smoke, seen today and gone tomorrow. So not only does the YouTubepreneur know how to generate consistent views, but also consistent revenue. And listen, and is not dependent on one income source. How vulnerable is your YouTube business? If you got disapproved for YouTube monetization, would your business stop? If advertisers stopped working with you and brand deals, would your business stop? If a certain income stream, even beyond that, your merch line, people stopped buying your merch, would your business stop? If you build in this creator economy a really solid business, it's ultimately not dependent on one income source, or you have the ability to pivot, because otherwise it's not sustainable, right? It's like if a stream dries up, you're like, oh, that's it. Well, I guess we're out of business, and you close down shop. So the true YouTubepreneur has these elements, right? A YouTubepreneur has created and defined a clear vision of the people they want to help and the problem they solve. They've mastered getting consistent and predictable traffic, which means views, from YouTube. They've mastered generating consistent and predictable revenue from YouTube. They've tapped into some automation. No business ever grows to any size of significance if it's required for one person to keep carrying the whole thing. That one person will burn out. You know you're starting to approach the YouTubepreneur phase when you don't feel like you're on a treadmill headed for burnout. I've been on that treadmill. I've been on that treadmill where I'm like, I don't know if I can keep this up. I feel like I'm on a treadmill headed for burnout. I don't know if this is sustainable. And thank God that we could maybe even experience a couple years of impact on YouTube. But Think Media's mission is to help you build something really sustainable that doesn't burn you out, that doesn't crush your family, that doesn't destroy your health, that actually is built with wisdom so that it can stand the test of time, whatever that looks like in an internet age where things move so quickly, but so many influencers are here today and gone tomorrow. How do we move from being an influencer to being a YouTubepreneur? And so the clarity questions is, what do I need to get better at? Which one do you relate to? So which out of these two, which one do you need to get better at? Views or earning money and figuring out the business model? Second question is, what is my business model? It's a very important question many have never answered. The business model, what, based on my niche, based on my channel topic, based on my strengths, based on my passion, based on my vision, based on who I feel called to serve, based on who I want to help, based on the market dynamics, based on my market research to see if anybody even cares or is interested in this product or service I want to create. Based on all these elements, what is the strategic business model that I've created? And then also, what skill do I need to learn or improve next? We just talked about it this morning on our Think Media team meeting. One of the most important skills we at Think Media personally are asking all the time, one of the most important questions, and one of the most important questions we encourage our community and our students to answer is, what skills do I need to survive and thrive in the new economy? Am I building something that's even dependent on a platform? I might leverage the platform and use the platform today, tomorrow, and even for the next 8 years, but could I withstand a market shift? Could I withstand a pandemic? Could I withstand things shifting?
Want to know the exact strategies Sean Cannell and the Think Media team use to consistently get over 3.5 million views on YouTube every month? Learn the proven steps and newest YouTube money-making strategies at the Grow with Video Live virtual conference. Get your ticket today at growwithvideolive.com.